Number 4, chef's personality. Isn't that interesting that they put that in the star rating?
Yep.
So chef's personality. And so for us, we put authentic leadership vision. And this is something, this next point is something that I think still struggle with, but I struggled with this for a while. And I think I read something by Brother Nathaniel Wilson on leadership that kind of opened my eyes a little bit on this. But I'll just mention the point is a true leader must have the courage to make decisions that reflect our values, our biblical values and vision, even when they're unpopular or unconventional.
Yeah. It's huge.
It is huge because as a leader, we want to be liked, and I feel like it is a necessary ingredient to be liked at least a little bit.
Sure.
You don't have to be the gregarious, charismatic, popular guy to be a leader at all. There's quiet leaders, and everything, but people can't just dislike you.
Right.
If your personality is a turnoff, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yes.
No matter how good you are.
Absolutely.
And so we want to be liked, and so where the problem comes in is where we want to be liked so much that we hold back.
Yeah.
And this is where I still struggle with this. It's hard to somebody is you like them too, and they're doing something that's just not working.
Yeah.
And you had to sit down and have that hard conversation.
That's a hard one. Yep.
And say, hey, in order for us to be way better, we got to sit down. We got to have this hard conversation.
Yeah.
Or you got to make decisions that people, that it's not popular. People are not going to like it. In fact, okay, here's an example. I kind of pre-made this decision today.
Oh boy.
Okay, so
you're hearing it first.
Right
here.
Firsthand, right here. So we were talking about some, again, we're trying to improve issues, and so we were having some issues at Snack, and so I was talking about different things and improving it and everything. And then I said, you know what? We did this years ago, or, well, not real long ago, but we've done this. And I said, and actually, now that I think about it, we need to do this regardless of whether we're trying to fix something or not. Is we would, for our snack time, we split into groups, small groups,
I remember that.
and had staff with each group sitting down and just talking. And we're talking 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, it's really short. Snack time is short in our Sunday school. And so, but I know of at least one, but I know of more than one that hates that.
I hate it.
But we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's an unpopular decision. Yep. And to give credit, that person that hates it, they will do it, and they'll do a good job.
And they will.
They just don't like doing it.
Yeah.
But so anyway, there's things like that where it's okay, this is the right path to go, but it's not popular, and so sometimes it's hard to say.
It is difficult.
I'm gonna do it.
It's hard to do that. It's very true.
And then the other thing is leaders must develop a clear point of view about what we stand for and why it matters. This is something I've been trying to do. To reiterate, you never show up for practice because
workaholic.
Because you're working all the time. But I've been mentioning this in practice a little bit, and trying to mention it even backstage some with that list is just why what we do matters, and so why. How do I explain it? Okay. So a couple weeks ago, we had a bunch of guests. We had a lot of guests. We had a lot of kids, but we had a lot of guests. And so I just quickly mentioned, I don't know if you were in here or not, but I said, hey, it was just backstage. Not everybody was back there, but just the ones that were. I said, hey, we have a lot of guests today. A lot of kids that came on the bus today. And I said, and we want them.
Yeah.
Now that sounds basic, but I said, I just wanted to remind.
Yeah. Because
invariably, you have a lot of guests like that. It's not going to be just perfect little angels folding their hands in their seats. No. I said, so we have a lot of guests, and we want them.
Yeah.
Remember that when you go out there, it's going to be messy. It's going to be chaotic. We want them here.
Yeah.
That's why we do what we do.
Well, yeah, I think that's true because, we have staff that they do acting, they do all kinds of stuff. We have staff that are okay, when something's going on stage, you're sitting out with the kids and kind of keeping an eye on things,
right.
and and make sure kids aren't, laying down and running around. And we have some that their intentions are right because they want to keep things orderly and keep things in line. But we have some that are like, my God, the kid like turns his head sideways one time and it's like, off with his head, rip him out, kick him out of Sunday school. And all they did was turn their head, 15 degrees. And so I think it might have been during that, you got to be careful, especially with new children, because that might scare them off.
Oh yeah.
But we still got to have
order,
a little bit of order.
Yeah,
but
a little bit of order.
Your approach is
Balancing
important.